Sir, you are muted actually.
Oh, sorry. Now is it? Now I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Now you are audible.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Hey, thanks for welcoming me. Yeah. So, do you want me to start now?
Sir, like we can ask, I will ask you some questions, you answer them, or like
Okay.
you can go with.
Yeah, maybe you can start with the questions. Yeah. Maybe then we can go.
Yes, sir. So we will start with your journey, sir. Sir, when you were at VIT, what was your mindset around placements? Like how confident were you regarding on-campus placements or off-campus?
Yeah. So, so during my time, right, I was from mainly from electronics branch, right? I don't know right now that department exists or not, but right that time it was electronics. Right. So I was typically focused at that time on the robotics side, right? Because I was not aware of the computer science background altogether, right? I was focused on the embedded systems and that side. But later on in the third year,
Software development
when I
engineer.
got the spotlight from different of my friends right in CS department, from there I started to grasp the concepts. So be it the core fundamental subjects like which we have in the CS like operating system is there, computer architecture is there, or for that matter, data structures and algorithms. So all these subjects are not typically taught to our batches, right? Or they are not taught that much in depth to our batches. So those are the first things which I tried to do. In my, I think I started my things from third year, or second half of third year when the COVID started. Right during that phase, I started. So I was also not that much confident initially. If I remember correctly, it was from Feb or March COVID started, right? From that time only, I've started my preparation. Right. It took some time, right? Because for me as well to go into Amazon, it took 1 year. So during that time as well, when I was in my first job, right, I used to revise those concepts and practice the problem. So that's how I like, started my journey.
Yes, sir. So during the journeys, what do you think? What was the biggest turning point that moved you closer to those big tech jobs or tech roles which you are currently?
Uh, so the turning point was, I would say, the guidance from my mentors or my seniors, right, during that time, who were at different companies, right. So basically, few of my friends, or I would say the seniors, right, they were at Cadence and Barclays, right, and Nvidia. Right. So they used to guide me who were placed during that time. Right. So they used to guide us like, okay, how should we do the preparation or what are the exact questions asked, right? Because I was mostly into theoretical part, not the actual problem solving part. So from there, actually, I got the like what I can say, the turning point, you can say.
Yes, sir. That's really great context of your journey. Now, I would now like to understand what kind of role or work you are doing currently at Microsoft, and what was different from your Amazon work. Like you worked at two big tech roles, right? So, what were the different roles you work for?
So currently, where I work, right, I work with Azure, right, which is I think you all might have known the cloud service provider, right, of Microsoft. So there I work with onboarding of the different LLMs, right. To be specific, we recently launched the GPT and this Cloud Opus, right. These all models into Azure, right. So I work in that particular domain, and in parallel we do the now when you onboard a model, right, you have to do the quota management or GPU management of those models, right. So that is the part where my org or my team is focused on, right. So more or less that is the thing, and the big difference which I could see from the Amazon to Microsoft is in Amazon I was working in the payments domain, basically the digital payments domain, right, where the tech stack was typically different. There we typically made use of Python plus Java. Java was the I can say the major primary language where we did the complete service coding. Here it is different because Microsoft works in C Sharp and .NET. So here it is C Sharp .NET, and since there are few LLMs, so Python is used for training and yeah, fine tuning purposes. So those are the major differences. But most of things I don't see much difference because every big tech, right, has their own internal framework or tools, right? So you can find the analogy between, if you, any one of you might have used Spring Boot or something like that kind of framework, right? So there you find an analogy, right? Okay, in Java you use I mean, for Java specifically we use this Spring Boot, right? Similarly, you will have something similar framework for Python, right? So I mean, similar to that I'm talking about. So similar that, like that of concepts, I like used to correlate between both of tech, because end of the day technology is same, just that naming or tools are here and there different.
Sir, so like those technical fundamentals were you developing while you were on job, or you learned them from a college?
No, no.
Like
So
which
that is a
fundamentals were most important?
like ongoing journey, right? You cannot grasp each and every concept at once, right? So I kept on learning. So I won't say everything I knew from the starting, right? So like just to give an example, these guys, right? The operating system fundamentals are there. So I knew at the basic level what the segmentation is there. Just to give you an example, right? Pagination, segmentation, or whatever those things are there, right? And then when we come to the actual job, right, then we come to know what exactly are the things I require, uh, which are used in practical life, right? Those are the only things which will be asked to the interview, apart from the campus interviews I'm talking about, right? So from there I came to know, okay, these are the things which I need to learn, these are X things I need to learn, I didn't need to defer the Y things, right? So from there, I like got the idea. But yeah, frankly speaking, no, I till now I also don't know many of the fundamentals as well. But yeah, I mean that is a ongoing journey. So I didn't know many of the things even after joining.
All right, sir, that's really great. Like keeping that in mind, let's connect this how students should prepare for today to get placed, right? So the question is, what do students generally overestimate during preparations, and how they something like underestimate that maybe school?
So students, I mean, when I say student, I also did that mistake, right? So what we generally do is in the college we focus on those typical problem set, right? I don't know what is the structure right now, but when I say problems, I mean the data structure problems I'm talking about, right? So we stick to that typical structure. Okay, these are the array concepts which are being taught to us. These are the mapping concepts taught to us, or just to give you these two examples, right? And we keep on solving those problems repetitively. But if we go around, right, earlier few years back, it was a trend, right? People used to do the competitive programming and they used to crack the jobs. But now, for I think for SD1's recent interviews which I took, right, we make use. I mean, we expect some kind of LLD as well when they do some kind of coding, right? So what I would say is, when we typically solve any problem, right, try to see how we can write the production ready code. Just to give an example, int x equal to 10, right? That is not the correct nomenclature, right? You define for a variable.
Yes.
How you could productionize the code, because few years back it was fine that okay, you use your competitive programming, those variable namings, and it should be fine. But now I think at least the recent interviews which I have taken, that shift I am observing. So I would say that when you're solving any problem, right, try to see, even if it is a basic problem, right, try to see how I can write in a production level. I mean, right from the main method, how it is being called, your function is being called, and how you can segregate into different functions, how you can use oops functionality, not in depth, but on a surface level, I would say.
Okay, sir, as you mentioned, like you made some mistakes at that time. So if you are back in VIT again at this point and you are a third year student, so what would be your weekly routine look like? What should one follow?
So so I would say that I would really solve, I mean, the mistake. I'll first start with my mistakes, right? So what I did was I focused much on the theoretical part, right, and less on the actual problem solving part. So what I would suggest is at least we should have, I mean, how can I say 4 hours, right? 2 hours for actual problem solving and 2 hours for theory, because in campus as well, I remember few of the companies asked the theory questions as well, right? I mean, OS fundamentals, computer architecture fundamentals, or your DBMS kind of fundamentals, right? I would say keep on brushing up those concepts. And one thing is we can have the revision schedule as well. Okay, so in 7 days or in 1 week, you solved 2 or 3 concepts, right? You took example to give, just to give an example, multi-threading concept is there. Mapping hash map concept is there. Then you made use of arrays, right? So you keep on revising those problems, because what will happen is that you solve those problems 2 or 3 weeks later. If you come back to the same problems, it is a probability that you'll forget those problems, how you solved it. So it's better to have revision. And I would say quantity is, I mean, what I focused on is solving multiple problems. I mean, hundreds and dozens of problems, like what I would suggest is quality is more important. What type of problems you are solving, right, that actually covers. So even if you are solving one problem which covers most of your concepts, 2 or 3 of your concepts, right, rather than solving individual problems of those 3 concepts, that is much more important. So basically quality is important, and quantity, that is the one thing which I would definitely correct if I am back.
Yes, sir, that's great. Like even many students make those mistakes of revision and all. Most of the times when someone start DSS, they start back with array again and again. That may happen. Yes, sir. And sir, then next big question comes like for interview perspective, does only DSM matters or projects and all even?
And no, so yeah, this is a good question. So I'll tell you. So projects also matter. Now, where do they matter? I'll tell you. So I think for internships or SD ones, there are 2 rounds, right? I don't know how many rounds are currently going on, but there are 2 rounds, right? One is
Yes, sir.
your one DSA
Technical.
round, second will be some another problem solving round, right? And then there will be managerial round. So when you go to the managerial round, right, or the hiring manager round, there that guy will he won't be diving deep into what problem solving you're doing, right? What he is interested is in, do you have some exposure to going nearest to the production ready code. Now, what thing I have seen is that what people do is they clone the projects from GitHub, right? Directly clone the project and use it in in the resumes or in their interviews, right? So what I would say is, like, in the college we don't have that much exposure, right? Okay, this is the like, just to give an example, if some guy is creating his Amazon clone, right? So there should be some uniqueness which you have done in that project, right? Let's be in the checkout tab, you did some changes from your end, right? So that particular thing you need to know end to end, right? Just cloning the project and like, using it as part of the interview, right, won't help, because then the interviewer might catch you, right? Okay, this is the cloned one, and no actual effort was being made. So you should know what kind of. So when I say the projects also, right, nowadays focus is mostly on the AI heavy projects, right? So at my time, actually, it was fine that, okay, if we code some kind of React application, Angular application, it was fine. But nowadays, if you have some AI touch, I won't say the complete some kind of machine learning projects you are doing, but some touch to the AI, right? That will be really helpful to your project, because nowadays, those when your interview, sorry, your resumes get scanned, right? They are scanned via ATS, right? So there, or basically the who that HR is there. So there they catch the keywords. So if you don't have that, if you have that AI somewhere here and there, right, and if you could explain, that is a much, I would say, plus one to your what I can say, the project section. So that is one more thing.
Yes, sir, that's great. And sir, like what actually makes project more impressive? Like its scale, complexity, or depth?
No. So at the college level, right, depth is much more important, right? So what happens is, what I have observed is, people try to code a complex project, okay, but they don't know the nits and picks of that. So whenever an interviewer is coming, you take that POV, right? When an interviewer is coming, he won't be judging you how on the basis of technical complexity. You would be judging whether you know the bits and pieces, right? If you have used the some kind of DB, right there. How is the mapping of primary key, foreign key mapping is there? He would be asking you those basic questions there. Not this is not an interview of senior SD or SD2 level interviews, right? Where those kind of complexities required. So what I would say is a medium level complexity where you could explain the architecture on a Uber level by some help of some block diagram or flowchart, something like that. But on the depth, the low level details, right? Why you have used this naming convention, let's be specific, or why you have used this kind of DB, right? Why you haven't used NoSQL or SQL? This is a common question which is being asked, right? How you productionize the code, and that productionize could be just deploying it on the what is that GCP or some AWS or Heroku, right? That should also be fine. But how did you do that, right? Those are the technical details which they will be looking, not how much complex or these things. That is much not much important.
Great, sir. Sir, like now you have actually seen the resumes and taken interviews. So, according to you, can you describe someone project which can be helpful for students? Like after seeing that project, you can judge that the student has a solid candidate. Is a solid candidate.
Okay. So there are few kind of projects, right? So what typically I have seen is something kind of if you guys have someone might have implemented some kind of a shopping application, right? So or some airline booking application, right? Just to give an example, right? So few years back, even making a that kind of application was fine, right? You make that application, that should be fine. But now, what should happen is in that particular project, right? If you're I don't know if how many of you might have used the booking.com website, right? Just to give you an example, right? What that website does is some kind of aggregation, right? It will spawn to different airlines and pick on their tickets, right? So and give their prices, right? And these prices are made by crawling and then using some weighted AI algorithms, right? Where they will be giving you best, cheap, or fastest flights, right? Just to give an example. So if these kind of projects you do, right, somewhere or the other, right, there should be one block where you have done the basic implementation or service code implementation. Somewhere internally, right, where I told you, right, aggregation. Right, aggregation logic is purely based on these things, right? Scraping or crawling, web crawling, and then you use the AI to vet the or to stack rank those particular flight prices, right? Somewhere these two terms should be made use of. I'm not saying that typical exact framework you should follow, but somewhere like just to give another example, today in market there is no food aggregation app where they will crawl me Zomato's food prices, Swiggy's food prices, and give me the best one. You have to go separate to each and every app and pull the prices, right? So just to give an example, that kind of food aggregation app, right? If you could make, I'm not saying basic one, that should also be fine in these cases.
Mm, nice, sir. That's really useful approach we see. Sir, like then talking about interviews, most candidates commonly misunderstood about big tech interviews, like how often, what different they are.
Different in the sense means campus in typical interviews versus big tech interviews. You're talking.
Typical interview versus big tech
Uh, uh,
interviews.
so basically from my experience, right, what I could say is that when you're giving I'm not judging any company, but let's suppose we take some XYZ company, right? It's a normal company, and you give that interview. So there, they won't be interested much into your what I can say the uh, project details and all, right? So what they would be more interested is, okay, you will be given thrown up some problem statement, you solve that particular problem. uh, One or two rounds would be there, max three rounds are there, including hiring manager, and you're done. Either you pass or fail in that interview, right? When you go for big tech, right, at least for me, I think for Microsoft there were 6 to 7 rounds, right? So there we have two for DSA, right? Then I think for SD1 there is one small LLD round, and then your this round is there, hiring manager round. So there basically they judge you on the basis of one, the your DSA, right? Second is LLD, right? In the LLD, you have, I think, the OOPS concept, right? If you could demonstrate somehow or the other, right? The Your typical OOPS concepts are there, right? Inheritance is there, polymorphism, all those concepts are there, right? If you are thrown with a problem statement, can you code it? And that coding is also something, not like, you have to do a that code should run. If you could provide the skeleton, right, how this classes would be appearing, their class diagram and all, right, because these are the things which are taught in the college, right? If you could explain that as well, uh, then uh, you can pass the big tech interviews. Now on a parallel side, if you see a normal company's interview, they would be typically on these lines. Okay, explain me inheritance, right? Then you would be giving them a textbook definition. What is this? What is that? With some, those typical examples are there. But in these kind of interviews, big tech interviews, they will be giving you a problem statement, like design a betting system, design some kind of car booking system, right? So there basically you should have an idea how I can define those classes, because when you provide a textbook definition, it is related to employee class or car class, right? So it doesn't go beyond that. And if you practice these kind of problems where machine coding, or where actual implementation is that, then you're thinking also broadens. Okay, how I can segregate, how I can segregate each and every thing into object, right? Sorry, the classes, right? So these are the typical differences. And yeah, number of interviews also typically are less in normal ones. So for big tech, I think four interviews should be there, as far as I know.
Yes, that's really great, sir. So now, like talking about life inside those companies, you have experienced Amazon as well as Microsoft life. So, what was your experience there? What were the changes or differences you saw in there?
So life in the sense, what exactly do you mean?
How was your experience as office, the
Okay.
ambience and
Okay.
all?
Okay. Yeah, both the offices, right, are at the same par, I would say. So there are multiple facilities available. You guys might have seen those videos, right, where people go on
Yes,
gym and
Instagram
those things.
reels.
That is just day one life. No one goes there after that. So no one has that time, right? So, but yeah, there are facilities available. You have. I think at least in my office, Bangalore office, I have this gym. I have food there, right? In Amazon, I didn't have free food. Here, free food is there, right? Then you have your gaming, the Xbox and PS is there, right? Which we can play, which we play in college. So that is there. And then one thing is there that everything, right, internally, like let's say, just to give an example, right, even if you go from one passage to another passage, there is some or the other computer science fundamental written on the walls, right? How you should do the unit testing, how you should do the integration testing. These are some nitpicks which I could see. But more or less, offices are really good. But if you guys are seeing that, those videos which we see online and then going, so those are just, 1 or 2 weeks. After that, you don't have that much time. At least in Amazon, Amazon is much hard, I would say, harsh on these terms, right? The life is too hectic there. So I didn't see anyone, playing there after 1 or 2 months of joining. So, but yeah, it is good to have, but I won't see that as an pure intention to join that company.
Yes, that's cool. Like many students think the life, how life would be there. You
No,
really
that is
explained it.
Yeah, that is not the actual life.
Yes, sir. Sir, one last piece of advice which you would like to give to students.
Yeah, so one thing, so two are there, not one, so two are. So basically now everyone is solving those like the problem solving, right? Everyone is doing right with some online, some or the other online platform, right? So there, when you solve, right, like I mentioned earlier as well, that everyone does the just to be frank, right? Everyone does that functional implementation, right? Like you don't do the actual complete code of that particular problem, right? You don't start with the main method and do the implementation. The main mistake which I have seen is while taking the interviews, in these kind of interviews, that you are given a blank text editor, right? And there you need to solve. So there you should start from the main method and then solve the problem. 90% of the or 95% of the candidates feel that they could not take inputs from the variables or sys out those particular variables, flush in those variables, right? So that is where the problem arises. So basically, what I want to tell is, when you solve the problem, have the complete template ready with you. And second thing is, like don't use the naming, right, which we make use of, right? Non-conventional naming is that if you are asked a problem to design a rental system, have the naming similar to that which falls in that perspective. Because what happens is, even if your implementation is here and there, right, it doesn't work, that is fine, but then the interviewer will see that, okay, he has implemented oops concepts, he has implemented the variables correctly, namings correctly. That are the nitpick which we see in the SD1 interviews, right? What are the other things what we will be seeing? So those are the things, and nowadays the storm is towards the AI front. So I would say some or the other way, right? If you could integrate AI, I gave you two examples right now, right? So if you
Yes,
guys just see so one thing is there, that it should not be commonly available examples, right? Should be something unique of yours. So if you could find out few of those kind of examples and then integrate it, right? Even if it is some kind of source code is being taken from chat gpt, or that is also fine, because every company suggests now, okay, but you should have the understanding how the internals work there. So these two or three, how I can say, these two or three advices are there, right, which I would definitely suggest. AI focuses much nowadays, I would say.
yes, sir. I'm sure that will be very useful and relatable to our students. Yes. Sir, so now we will move to questions from chat
Hmm.
from students. I will just screen share the slide. You can take from there.
uh, okay, are you sharing the screen, or I can read from the chat as well? I could see one.
Yes, wait, sir. I am sharing, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So these are some questions from our chat. What skills helped you land job at Microsoft? Was it DSA deployment, solid projects, or expertise in DSA? Was it through on-campus or off-campus placements?
Okay. So this was not off campus as well. I was at Amazon at that time, and I had some experience, right? Then this was a SD2, what I can say, round. So it was definitely, it doesn't fall either of these categories, right? So it was a job switch basically. But to come with the first question, right? So basically, at Microsoft, it helped me with the expertise in the DSA work, and plus the development, right, which I did at Amazon, the Amazon projects which I worked upon, right. As I told you, I was in the digital payments domain. So those projects helped me there. I didn't understand by the meaning of solid projects, solid even good projects. I'm assuming, but yeah, I mean, those are the two things which helped me. think you're on mute.
Sir, so next question is, how many questions have you done on lead code and core courses for DSA practice? You can say.
Yeah. So I think on lead code I did around I don't have exact number, around 300 or 400 questions I did at that time. But I would say few mistakes here which I did. Again, I told you guys earlier as well. I at that time focused on the quantity, right, to solve the problems. Now here as well, I see that thing that instead of solving, I'm not differing that you should not solve those problems, but solve the problems which are, have a quality, right? You solve one problem, you have multiple concepts getting cleared, right? So that will help you rather than solving, like I've seen many people frankly speaking solving 500 and thousands of problems, but some or the other way they fail in the interview. So the only correction which I would make is to this question is that solve around 200. That is a good number to solve, right? 150 to 200 problems are good to solve. Just nitpick the questions correctly, right? That is much more important.
All right, sir. So next question we can take is this: is system design relevant for SD or only for senior roles?
Uh, yeah, so system design, I would say low level design is important, right? For is given, and then again, that too is there which type of company you are applying, right? If I go back to my first company, there this kind of system design is not applicable. You're targeting a big tech, right? Low level design is 100% you would require. Or let's suppose you go for a startup, right? Swiggy or Zomato or Cred, right? These kind of startups. There you will require the machine coding or the low level design. Definitely you will require. High level design is not that much required, but a low level design you will require.
All right, sir. So past experiences you have already shared. We can skip this. Any other mistake which you want to mention, which we cannot?
No, I think I covered all of them.
Yeah, you actually covered all of them. How important is participation in college clubs and committees for a resume? Uh,
So, so what kind of clubs you participate, right? That is much more important. So, just to give you my example, I was in that robotics forum, right? I don't know right now it
TRF.
is around, but I was there.
Yes, yes, it is the TRF.
It is TRF, yeah. So there it was there. So one thing which helped me is uh, like there we used to design those robots, right? Those, the embedded I used to write the C++ code in the for the embedded software there, right? So the only thing which helped me there is the so small principles, right? How we actually do the product. Although that is not a production code, but large code. I mean, if I at the college level, right, 200 or 300 lines of code, at least for me at that time was a big code, right? So I can write that much code, right? That helped me in the college level, but that is not a mandatory thing, I would say. If you could do your self projects, like I see many people participating in different hackathons are there. Hackathon is a good way, or on the some kind of coding clubs are there. I think in VIT as well there is a coding club, right, which has some kind of these people doing some stuff and all. The you should have some kind of a relevant project. No, people won't be judging you. You joined this club, that club, that club. You should have some relevant project or relevant technical experience, and that's fine. I mean, it's not mandatory to participate in many. I was just part of one club.
All right, so next question we can take is what importance do certifications hold for internship and placements? If they do, then are there any specific certifications that are worth pursuing?
So certifications, you mean what is that, Coursera or those certifications? You mean?
Coursera, yes. Yes,
So
IBM courses especially.
IBM, okay. So as long as that's adding any value, right? And just to be specific, you should have some project out of that particular course, right? If you are learning, let's suppose at my time React was in boom, right? So I did one project on React. It's simple. My website I created on a React, right? So if you have that experience and if you could deploy, right? Nowadays, what happens is that you have those digital resumes, right, where you can add the link of your project, right, in the Git via
Yes, sir.
GitHub or some kind of live link. So if you could add that particular link and you are able to explain, then that is fine. Add the certification there. But end of the day, if interview is there, he would be saying, okay, you did this project, explain me. He won't be asking you have any experience, sorry, certifications around this or not. So what I would suggest is not per se certifications are valid, but that skills will be valid. So just to give an example, I did some ML course from Coursera, right, at that time. So I added what concepts I learned, but I never added, okay, I did the Coursera course or Udemy course, something like that. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that much is required, but if you could explain the project, that should be fine.
Yes, sir. So next we can take off-campus internships and placement tips. How should our resume look like? Does competitive programming or open source contributions help?
Yes. So basically here, right, competitive programming, earlier it used to help a lot, but yeah, I mean, I won't be denying that nowadays also it helps. But if you have plus open source contributions, right, some are the, I mean, there should be meaningful contributions, right? Right. I'm not saying that you do some diff change and that is counted as a open source contribution there. Right? Should have some relevant project, right? If you have to show. Few people at my batch did some GSOC kind of things, right? I don't know now what is the trend there, but few people did those projects and had that open source. Or there is one more thing, Hacktoberfest or something like that is there, right? Which comes. I don't know. I can share you the link offline. But those kind of hackathons or things are there, right? Which helps the students to participate and actually do the open source contribution. That will be helpful. But yeah, this is very much important. If you crack either of these, right, that will be helpful.
Yes, sir. That will be really helpful for students. Next, sir, how many students are focusing on AI/ML today? From an interview's perspective, is DS and deployment relevant, or should one prioritize AI/ML instead?
So there are 2 points to this. First one is DSA and development, right? That is very much important, right? AI ML is fine if you could explain a bit at the surface level as well, right? How these things work, right? Or end of the day, if you could, if your project does some API call to ChatGPT, sorry, OpenAI, and fetch those details, right? If you could explain why that is done and how you are getting the output of that model, that is also fine. But the first point is very much important, DSA and development. AI/ML is fine. You should have it. Stick it to your project, right? Whichever you create. You should not have, it is not mandatory to have, those end-to-end learning of that particular thing, mathematical expressions to that particular algorithms there.
Yes, sir. So, next we can take how to prepare for LLD and HLD since I do DS in C++ and can I do it in C++?
Yeah, I mean, you can do any language there, right? But generally, what I have seen is that if we have Java or uh, some kind of, these languages, right, where companies actually code, right? I think Go is also nowadays popular. You can use any of, but yeah, language is not much specific. But I would really suggest if you are going for LLD, right, go for Java because that is where most of the industry works upon, right? And yeah, what was that question earlier? No? There?
Yes,
So
how
how
to
to prepare?
prepare
Yeah,
for
how to
LLD.
prepare? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So there, for LLD, you can take up. You can make use of this as well, right? Chat GPT as well to give you a few questions, right? Of low level design for SD1. It will give you a curated list of questions, right? And whichever are the easier ones, right? Again, I'm focusing easier ones out of that. Those you can pick up and solve, because that will give you a curated list of senior level questions as well, that you won't need to focus. HLD is not much, so you should not worry about that.
All right, sir. So next, this one is nice question. How AI tools such as ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini are being used in tech companies or aren't they?
Yeah, so at least in my, I mean, I'm in the AI domain, so I need to use this. But yeah, I mean, it is a wide, what I can say, narrative, or I can say the decision taken that every, I mean, whatever code you write, right, or whatever things you do should be AI driven. So there is heavy use of the Copilot is there, or in some companies they use Claude, depending on which companies they are working. Right, at least in mine one, Microsoft Copilot is heavily used for development, and your normal task as well, right? You do some design doc there. Copilot is required. Web search also, so it's done. I mean, I don't know anyone uses now Google or what is that Edge, right? Most of them, even I use Copilot itself. So I think yeah, but there is heavy
Uh,
usage.
yeah. So next question is it better to focus on one strong skill or explore multiple domains?
So I would say one or two skills, right? Couple of skills should be fine. If you have some web development knowledge, right? React, Angular. I'm just giving an example, and then your service level knowledge, or how to code uh, some normal app or something like that. Right? These two things should be fine. I don't think multiple domains are anywhere required, because your interviews mostly on the basis of the projects and DSA. Even if you have multiple forkings to that, how will you explain, right, if you don't have any project to that? So I think stick to two of them. It won't waste your time as well, and channelize energy.
Yes, sir. So next is, can you please tell the importance of hackathons if we had done multiple good projects individually but hardly participated in hackathons? Does that matter?
I mean, see, end of the day, outcome matters. If you have a good project, right, which you can show, which is deployed correctly, and you could explain, that is fine. But I would still suggest that if you have some time and interest, participate in hackathon, because the problem statements there you get, right. Just give an example, SIH is there, was there at my time. I don't know if it is there now, but if these kind of people, what I can say, things are there, there you get the problem statements, right? And those are real life problem statements. If you have solution for those problem statements, right, that is really helpful. But again, if you have really good ones, individually, if you have done this thing, you can differ. But I will highly suggest participate in hackathon. Even I did.
Yes, sir. Is there any other question which you want to pick from this?
Add our core. Yeah, this is a thing. As an electronic student, is it okay to add our core project? Yeah, I don't think core projects will be required. So just shift your focus on the CS one. Just to be really frank, right? Don't add those kind of. I did also see some very long related details, very long related questions somewhere down, right? Whoever asked had asked that question, right? You don't need to add those things. Should be focused really on your computer science only.
Yes, sir. So this was question, what are current market trends that you would like to predict?
Current market trends, okay. So yeah, I mean, again, the use of the AI tools, right, is heavily being going on. Right, but I don't think that will affect the at a college level, right? You anyway need to learn the basics, right? So market trend is fine anyway. It is anywhere it is going. But basics is much more important, I would say. There, after that, if when you have your 4 to 5 years of experience, then you can switch. Okay, I want to go in this domain, or that domain. But for now, I think basic is fine, and one or two domain, right, which I told you, it should be fine for you, right?
Yes, sir. So the next is, does branch matter? Like the student says, I'm mechanical student but have interest in coding and want to clear technical interviews. Started ESA and about to complete web dev. Are mixed students allowed?
For college, I would say, I don't know right now what is the situation, but for college, it mattered for me as well, right? Because there was some restriction that only for few of the companies, CS and IT, whatever those branches people could go. But yeah, once if you are applying offline or off campus, right, there is no such kind of restriction. Even I am from electronics, right? That should be fine. But yeah, for college, I think there is some or the other criteria. I don't know if now that is the case. But yeah, off campus there should not be anything.
Yes, sir. I guess that's it for questions. Anything else which you want to share?
No, I think we covered most of the things. You guys have any other question? Maybe we can take up.
If anyone has some questions, enter in chat box. We can check from here. How did you balance studying college syllabus to school?
Yeah, so I told you, right? I think our college timings are that much flexible that we get these the time for the study as well, right? So as I told you, 4 hours, right? I didn't give 4 hours because I was doing core things as well at that time. That was my mistake there. But I would still suggest that if you give 4 hours daily, right, for 2 to 3 months, it should be more than enough for cracking good internships or those kind of. So 2 hours for actual implementation, 2 hours for your brushing up or your theory, whatever is there, weekly revision. In that way, you can manage. I think 4 hours in a day is fine. I think you can give.
All right, sir. Now, almost questions we have already covered. How to get referrals? Sir, does referrals matter? Is there any procedure for getting referrals?
Referral. I have, I mean, there is not much help, but some or the other way they help. But I mean, if you could get a referral, that should be fine. But at the college, I mean, SD1 level, right? Doesn't matter much if you apply offline or apply via referral. Either of them should be fine. A referral just provides increases some or the other probability of getting an interview, but nowadays also that is being deferred at least in big tech. So I don't know about other companies.
Yes, sir. Sir, we will take one last question, then we can conclude towards our sessions. So, when did you start your first internship, and is there best time to apply for it?
So
In
I started in Jan 2021, I think. And my internship was from the college itself. So, I mean, in August, that company came, right in my fourth year. Right, and there I got the internship opportunity there. So I think after your and I mean which is this semester, say fifth or sixth semester, you guys are going on.
we all are from different semesters, sir.
Okay, okay.
Like
So yeah, so third year after first half is done, right? First, I think
fifth
fifth
semester.
semester. Yeah. After that, slowly you can start applying because you have total 8 semesters, right? So yeah, I mean after fifth semester it is correct time. I didn't get in sixth semester because of COVID. So yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and sharing your honest insights with us. And to all students, this session must be about clarity, and we hope you take right actions after today. And thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.